Greetings, good morning, hello, welcome. All right, protected lists are out. We're going to go division by division. So, we're going to start with the Pacific because that's the easiest one to do because Vegas is exempt. Obviously, Seattle is not picking from themselves, so that leaves 6 teams left over. So I went through alphabetically, and here we go. So who did Anaheim protect? They protected Delorier, Jones, Lundestrom, Raquel, Silverberg, Steele, Terry, so 7 forwards. Fowler, Lindholm, and Manson are the 3 defensemen, and of course John Gibson in net. You're not going to leave Gibson out there. So who did they expose? Well, Ryan Getzlaf, of course, is UFA. Maybe they sit down and have a chat with him. I didn't write down everybody on the exposed list either. I just wanted to cover the bigger names and the guys who are most likely to get picked. Adam Henrique, pretty big name. Again, you're looking for goals your first year. Sonny Milano is interesting in that he was a top prospect when drafted, and obviously his stock has fallen, that they're protecting Delorier and leaving Milano out there. Alexander Volkov is interesting in that they just signed him to an extension, and they got him from Tampa, and he looks like a keeper. But again, Delorier is the one that stands out to me just because I don't think there was any chance of Seattle taking him. And then on the blue line, you've got Brendan Gooley. Josh Mahura is an interesting one, and of course, Kevin Shattenkirk. And then in that, you've got Anthony Stolarz. Of the players on the board, I actually kind of like Volkov. I kind of like Volkov to Seattle. And that would kind of be a shame if he was to leave Anaheim already. But I kind of like Volkov. So Calgary, their turn. Backlund protected, Dubé, Goudreau, Lindholm, Mangiapane, Monahan, Kachuk. That's your forwards. No surprises there. And on the blue line, Anderson, Hanifin, and Tanev. Again, no surprises. Markstrom in net. His no movement clause is the reason why Vancouver had to let him go. Could not get a deal worked out with him last fall. And of course, the unprotected list, you've got Milan Lucic, who waived his no movement clause, which you have to think probably gave Mangiapane a spot on the list. Maybe Dubé, right? So maybe Dylan Dubé is the one that gets on the list that would have been exposed if Lucic had said, no, I'm not waiving. Brett Ritchie, who just signed a 1-year extension. Derek Ryan, who's been rumored to be, a guy who probably ends up going to Seattle. But then on the blue line, you get to the interesting ones. Mark Giordano's going to get all the attention, right? And it's possible Seattle takes Giordano. But I like Shillington. I do. I think that Oliver Shillington would be a good, young, inexpensive defenseman that maybe you can mold into being a top 4 guy. Michael Stone, also interesting there. And of course in net, Louis Domingue. Now, Louis Domingue may not be a huge star goaltender. Tyler Parsons might be the one that's the more fascinating. But Louis Domingue, excellent cook. It's an expansion team. You never know. Maybe they forget to hire caterers. Louis Domingue can help you out there. Edmonton. Archibald protected. Yes, Edmonton fans had every reason to be concerned. Archibald has been protected. Draisaitl. Cassian has been protected. McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, Puljujarvi, and Yamamoto. So they did go 7-3-1. And they had to protect Puljujarvi and Yamamoto because there's no way that Seattle isn't taking whichever player's not protected, right? And then on the blue line, you've got Bear, Keith, and Nurse. So they don't protect Larson. There are rumors that they've already got a deal worked out with Adam Larson. So they didn't sign him to that deal and create a problem for themselves. And Skinner's the goaltender they're protecting. Yeah. So they don't protect Tyler Benson. And I know there's going to be a lot of concern about him being the one taken by Seattle, which is possible. But I don't know. See, they've got Alex Chason out there, which if they want a veteran who is okay, they're going to need a bottom 6 as well. If they do this the way Vegas did it, Vegas didn't just draft all the big names. They went with 4 lines, 6 defensemen, 2 goalies. Dominic Cahoon is also one that's really interesting to me. I might be tempted if I'm Ron Francis to pick up Cahoon. James Neal, they're not touching that contract. Oscar Klefbom on the blue line, we already know he's probably not playing next year. Chris Russell might be an interesting one on the blue line. And Mikko Koskinen in net. So we'll see which way they go with goaltenders. But Koskinen's not bad. He's not a bad goaltender, and I know people aren't a huge fan of his contract, which is fine. But again, Seattle's starting from the ground up, so one bad contract won't necessarily put them off. Then you've got the LA Kings. So moving on to the LA Kings, surprisingly protected Elias Anderson, but that's not the most surprising protected player on this list. On this board. Might be the most surprising on the LA list. You've got Arvidsson, just acquired from Nashville. Dustin Brown, Iafallo, Kempe, Kopitar, and Trevor Moore was protected. And then on the blue line, you've got Doughty, Roy, and Walker. And in net, they did protect Cal Peterson. So up front, they don't protect Andreas Athanasiou. Again, if I'm Ron Francis, I might be thinking about him. He's shown he can score 20 goals. He had a rough year overall this year for LA, but he had a really hot start, and then he got hurt. Carl Grundstrom might be a tempting one, too, if you're Seattle. And Brendan Lemieux, if you want some sandpaper, Lemieux can provide that. And then you've got Blake Lizotte is the other one I'm kind of interested in, because I kind of thought maybe they'd protect Lizotte. There you go. Lizotte's out there. He may very well be Seattle bound. On the blue line, Olimata, if they want not a big name, obviously, but considering the players that are available, bigger name than some of the other defensemen. And, of course, in net, Jonathan Quick, whose contract there's been rumors LA's been trying to get rid of for years, and to no avail. I don't think Quick gets taken by Seattle. Then we go to the San Jose side of things. Balcers was protected. Couture, and then Jonathan Dahlen was protected. Jonathan Dahlen is a huge surprise to me. I did a double take. I was like, am I looking at the available list? Nope, that's protected. So I'm guessing Dahlen is seen as a guy who's going to come in and play for them next year. Hurdle, Kane, LeBanc, Meyer round out the forwards, and on the blue line, Burns, Carlson, and Vlasic, and then in net, they did protect Aiden Hill. Now, the available players, Ryan Donato. He's bounced around the league a bit. I still think Donato's a half-decent player, but it hasn't been exactly... it hasn't been a great run for him. We'll see whether or not he ends up in Seattle. Dylan Gambrell just signed to a $1.1 million extension. If I'm Ron Francis, I might look at Gambrell and say, all right, that would be a perfect pickup for us. Maxim Latunov, if they want to look at a player that hasn't quite hit the NHL yet, Latunov might be a good pickup. Matt Nieto, Marcus Sorensen. I'm a huge fan of Sorensen. And, yeah, that would be a decent pickup. Again, we'll see what happens. Radim Šimić on the blue line. Could do worse than Šimić on the blue line. And then Martin Jones has been exposed to the goals. I don't think they touched Jones's contract. And then last but not least on this board is Vancouver. They protect Besser. I saw some rumors of Besser yesterday. I'm like, why would Vancouver trade Besser? Why? It just I did a real double take when I saw that. I'm like, why is there a rumor Besser's being moved? And it wasn't like from Sportsnet or TSN or anything, obviously. I sometimes I see these rumor sites and pages. I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, Besser's protected. Dickinson, Horvat, Miller, Mott, Pearson, Pettersson. That's your 7 forwards. It is remarkable that Tyler Mott being protected is something that I think all Canuck fans can agree that's the right move to make. Mott has really become one of the more important bottom 6 guys Vancouver's potentially ever had. And then on the blue line, Ulevy, Myers, and Schmidt. And I saw some snickering kind of comments about Myers being protected and why would you need to protect Myers? I really think people underrate how important Myers is on the Canucks blue line. And the first thing that would happen if they hadn't protected Myers is they'd have to go out and replace Tyler Myers. So yeah, and Schmidt being protected, good. I hope Schmidt sticks around in Vancouver. I hope he doesn't get traded this summer. I think with a full regular season, I think Schmidt will be better. And then in net, they protect Demko because, of course, they do. And again, if they had kept Markstrom, they wouldn't have been able to keep Demko. And now Canuck fans everywhere would be losing their minds because either they would have had to trade Demko or he'd be sitting on the unprotected list today and headed to Seattle. Now, the non-protected, Jona Gadjevic. And Gadjevic has been one that has been rumored to maybe be the guy that Seattle takes. Cole Lind may very well be the guy Seattle takes. Now, I know there are some who don't understand why Canuck fans would care about Cole Lind being out there. Lind had a very good season this year. He has developed very well over the last, I'll say, 18 months. And it would kind of be a shame if he left, because he's looking like he may realize his potential. Zach McEwen. I like McEwen. I think McEwen would be a solid bottom six addition for a brand new team in Seattle. Jake Virtanen. It's not happening, but just think about this. Go back 2 years and say, hey, so when Seattle picks, Vancouver's not going to protect Virtanen. If I'd said that on the channel, people would be like, what does he know? So, and then on the blue line, Brogan Rafferty is the one that stands out to me. Brogan Rafferty, the potential's there for him to be a good top six defenseman. We'll see whether or not Seattle sees that. And of course, in net, Braden Holtby. And I keep seeing, well, they're going to take Holtby. Well, clearly they're going to take Holtby. I don't know that it's that clear. I really don't know that it's that clear. You look at the goaltenders from this division alone. You've got Koskinen, I would think might be a better target than Holtby right now, based on last season. And yeah, I think there's going to be some good options for them in net. But there you go. Pacific Division. Let me know your picks in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.